me something about your body. Anything.
Okay.
I have a body.
I have one.
My body made a human, which is pretty awesome, and it definitely changed the way I look at my body now.
I'm small. I look very young for my age. I'm 33. Oh, no. I'm 32. Sorry. Yeah. I don't care much about my age, so I forget it all the time.
So there's parts of my body that I like. For example, I really like my hair. That's why I take good care of it. And there's parts that I don't like. For example, I'm kind of in a battle with my legs since I was like 14 or so.
I'm a quite small person with long brown hair, and most people say that I'm cute. That sounds a bit like arrogant, right?
No.
I don't know.
We've got quite a good relationship, I'd say.
It's been a very complicated relationship. I feel like I'm getting emotional about it.
I like it. I like my body. On some days it feels more fit than on other days. On some days I feel more comfortable in my body than on other days, but there's never a day where I hate it, which used to be the case in the past.
I have never liked my body, like every woman. I have seen it, not just Indian, everywhere. We've been given those calendars and we've been given those magazines. We've been shown that this is how a body should look like, but we never knew that there's a Photoshop involved. For years, I have hated it. Now I love it. I love my curves. I love me.
As women, why do you think we often think negatively about our body?
I think it's from all the impressions that we get through media, like all the advertisements and models in magazines, actresses in movies. It's just, they're all so perfect, and there's this, not true reality that makes us believe that we are not enough. And if we actually look at each other in the mirror, we would notice that we all look alike and we have the same flaws, and what we see on television or in magazines is not actually what people look like.
I think the big problem is that we are seeing so many perfect, photoshopped, unrealistic versions of women on social media, on TV, on the street, like advertisements everywhere. It shows us what the ideal woman has to look like, and sometimes we tend to forget that it is good lighting, Photoshop, and a big crew of people doing your hair and makeup and everything.
I don't know, I have the feeling that women just think a lot more about their appearance than many men do. I don't want to generalize it. I mean, when I talk to guys, they also don't always feel comfortable in their bodies, but I think that they don't think so much about it. There are exceptions, of course, but I don't have any girlfriend that is really 100% happy and comfortable in her body.
Yeah, because the industry is telling us so, and also because of all the violence. I mean, every third girl, I think, under 16 has experienced in Germany some kind of sexual harassment. You're always reminded of having a body, having a sexualized body. And on the other hand, of course, we have a whole industry who wouldn't be there if you would be just fine with how you look. You can, of course, change your looks and do whatever you want with your body, but I think a lot of the problems are there because they always tell us that you have to look different than you do.
A lot of women really grow up having a very bad body image because they're constantly told the way you look, it's not good, you should do more, you should aspire to look a certain way to please men. We have internalized that, and then we're just looking at ourselves and searching for flaws because we know they will be there, because we're constantly being told we are flawed and we should feel like this.
I don't always want to blame society, but I think society plays a big role here. First of all, we are, as women, told what to wear, what not to do. So our body does not attract men in a negative way. From a very young age, we are taught that our body is a very big part of our existence, that it's not about like what we say and what we know and our education. It's a lot about looks. But I don't know, I could imagine that boys or men also feel quite a lot of pressure, especially with social media, in fulfilling certain body images.
I don't think that much negatively of my body. actually. I mean, I also don't think super positively. I just don't think of it that much at all. I just accept things the way they are.
Have you ever felt like there's something shameful or wrong with some part or parts of your body just because of how they are?
I think everyone has that. Yeah.
Most definitely, yes.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
No. I mean, I don't love everything, but I don't feel wrong or shamed.
Yes. I still struggle with this sometimes. Big one is body hair.
My body hair, my thick thighs, and the shadows under my eyes.
When I was a child, I was a bit overweight, and I got made fun of for my stomach because it was round and not flat.
My body hair is also very dark, and I know that I really suffered because of that, because all of my female friends, they were kind of blonde and didn't have that much hair. So I remember when we all started shaving, which was a big thing back in the day, they just had like 3 hairs on their leg or something, and a really light hair, and I had this dark hair all over me. And I was just like, oh my god, it's horrible. I mean, once you realize there's something disturbing, you're seeing it all the time.
I definitely did and still do sometimes feel that my legs are not the way I want them to be, or like everyone else's legs are.
I remember that in high school I was very ashamed of my butt because I don't have a small butt, and actually some of my friends, my girlfriends, were making fun of me. They were doing it in a playful way, but it hurt me. So I always thought that my butt is too big.
I've definitely been told stuff about my boobs, people making fun of them because they started growing earlier than my friends' boobs did. And later on it was the exact opposite, that people were telling me, oh, you have just so small boobs, oh, we can't even see them there, are they really here? Like stuff like that.
Oh yeah, when I was younger, especially when I sort of got into puberty and the body started to sort of change. As a girl, then I used to be like slimmer, and then sort of parts started to get bigger or rounder.
I was told by society, by also other girls, I don't know, I was too small or too thin or too dark, always too something. A lot of it stays, no matter how old you are.
Not really shameful. I think I'm aware that I'm overweight, and this is something that I have to work on for my own health, and I had to do this also in the past years in order to get healthier, but it has never made me feel ashamed in a way. It sometimes makes things more difficult, maybe. It's maybe more difficult to find clothes, but I don't care about clothes that much anyway. It's funny because I see a lot of people who, like, in what society thinks they look like better than me, or look more like what society wants people to look like, who feel more ashamed of their body than I do. And I think that's a shame.
At what age did you first start disliking something about your body?
I think at age 8.
Sadly, that started pretty early. I was in my teenage years, I guess like 12, 13, 14 years old, somewhere around that.
That was probably when I was like 12 or 13.
I think age 10, somewhere around there.
Like when I came into puberty, I started thinking about my body because it changed. So around 11 or 12.
12 or 13? That's when my first pimple came up in my face. That's when I started to analyze and compare with others.
I think the teenage, at 11 or 12 to 21, I've hated my body, and I think 25, I've hated my body. Because people gave me opinion, unwanted advice about how I should be as a woman and how my curves are not acceptable.
What was the first part of your body you disliked?
My stomach.
Probably my stomach.
My stomach.
And I thought my nose was too big.
Everything. Sorry. I hated myself with my body. Yeah, I hated for a long time. I wish I can go back and change that girl.
I think as a kid it was my height probably, or I had really curly hair as a kid in a white German society where everyone had to look like Britney Spears. I was really, really ugly for some people.
Do you remember that first moment when you started disliking something about your body? Do you remember what you were thinking or what was going through your mind?
I don't think that was a specific moment. That was more like a feeling. It was kind of creeping in pretty slowly. Feeling different, ugly in a way, and I was kind of feeling, well, not comfortable and not worthy.
I don't exactly remember the moment. It was more like coming to my mind more often and standing in front of the mirror, looking at myself, thinking, oh, but my friends, they are much slimmer. Why do I need to wear like bigger pants?
Yes, I actually do. I was with a girlfriend out in the town and we met the boys from our school and they only talked to her, not to me. And then one of the boys turned to me being like, if you wouldn't be so big, I would talk to you too.
I think that this whole thing about feeling ugly came when I changed from the Greek school to the German school. All the beauty standards and all, also together with everything else, like how you behaved, how you, what interests you had or whatever. It all changed at once and I felt like an alien and I also was treated as one.
Yeah, I definitely remember it. Some girls, they were friends of mine and I was a little bigger than them and they asked me, "Why are you bigger than us? Why? Why do you have a belly? Why?" That was the first time in my life that I was ever made to feel like I was different and that was bad. I knew before that I looked different than them, but I didn't feel bad about it.
I can't remember the first moment, but I always had my best friend growing up was super skinny and she was taller than me. I could never fit into her clothes. And this showed me that something wasn't right about my body. I remember when I was probably elementary school and I was looking for riding pants. And riding pants used to be very high waist back then when the rest of our pants weren't. And I could never fit into these damn riding pants because they were also very tight and stiff material, and that also made me feel like something was wrong because, I mean, they say they're for age 12 and I am 9. Why don't I fit into these pants? Something must be wrong with me.
I was thinking my butt is too big. What went through my mind was, okay, I need to put on clothes that are gonna hide my butt, that are not gonna present it to anybody. No one should see my butt. And I remember that when that started, that I noticed other things on my body that I don't like. Wait a minute, my nose. Maybe it's my nose. My nose is too big too, and that is too small. Like my breasts are too small, but my butt is so big and stuff like that.
Have you ever cried because you didn't like something about your body?
Several times, yes.
Many, many, many times.
Yeah, many times.
Oh yeah, on my teenage, yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, a lot. Doesn't happen anymore, which I'm really, really happy to say, because that was a long fight that I had to fight. Yeah, I mean, as a teenager, also as like a 25-year-old, I definitely had my moments.
Not recently. I feel like with age you really come to accept things about yourself, and so maybe in teenager years that's a possibility, but not lately.
Oh, a lot. I think my whole teenage years were full of it, and the interesting thing is again that it didn't really correlate with my experiences, so people did tell me I'm beautiful, people were interested in me, but I wasn't.
I probably have. I don't remember it, I guess, but there's a good chance I have.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Not that I'm aware of. I've not been like much bullied or anything. I guess I'm just lucky that I haven't experienced that, and I also never felt bad in a way.
What messages did you learn about your body from society or from your peers as a young girl or a teenager?
Definitely one message was, it's good to be skinny.
That you gotta have a flashboard abs to be beautiful.
There was definitely being skinny.
But also, of course, sexy. So you need to have boobs and an ass, but not too big of an ass, but big boobs are good.
Being tall and slim with a big bust is better.
And the small boobs are not nice. You gotta have huge.
Looking perfect in a bathing suit, having white teeth.
That's the messages I got, but skinny. Like, you know, like a Victoria's Secret model.
When I watched TV, well, Heidi Klum came up, the Germany's Next Top Model thing, when I was like 16 or something. You see all those slim, tall girls with that perfect skin, and I just didn't have that. I had no perfect skin. I was pretty small. And I was like, okay, so I think I'm wrong.
I got the message that how I look as far as my face, my hair, my body means a lot. And that sometimes, and a lot of times, it's even more important than what I'm thinking and feeling and what things, I'm good at and my hobbies. Just that how I looked was really important.
You know, being Filipino, having lighter skin is better. You don't want to be dark at all. Yeah, you don't want to have curly hair. You should have straight hair.
On one hand, I learned that my body is kind of my enemy and I have to do something to make my body work for me. And on the other hand, I learned that I had to be careful with my body because it sends messages I don't want to send. Like, for example, wearing the wrong clothes, sending the wrong message to people.
I remember my stupid aunt, I still call her stupid. I was just 14 or 15 and my boobs were just growing up and she was like, oh, according to the astrology, if you don't have heavy boobs, you'll never get a good man. Oh my god, I used to wear those bras just so that it looks good. I've done all this shit thanks to my society. Yeah.
Have you ever gone on a diet or restricted yourself from eating food because you didn't like how you looked? And what diet or how did you change your eating habits?
I think when I was 10, I was reading about how some models lose weight and they use a laxative. So I tried that too and it was horrible.
It was between 8th grade and 9th grade, I had a really big growth spurt and I was like stick thin all of a sudden, and I just got so many compliments from people out of nowhere telling me how good I looked, and it really fucked with my head because I thought like, wow, like people are nicer to me now that I'm skinnier than I was, so that means I have to stay like this. I remember like, not wanting to eat because I thought that that's what I had to do in order to be well liked and loved by people. But I mean, I know now that that's not true.
As a teenager, I did a lot of things like they used to get these slimming tea bags. I remember I saved money. I didn't tell my mom. I went and bought it online through some other neighbor so that neighbor gets it. And then I used to drink secretly in the night so that I'm going to lose weight and nobody's going to make fun of me. I think I've done all of it, but not anymore. Not anymore.
Yes, I'm guilty. I've tried so many diets in my life, even starting very, very young, which is kind of alarming if I think about it now. If I'm like 14 or so, I was like trying to don't eat anything after like 5 p.m. for example, and then it kept going, and I did like shake diets where I would replace my meals with shakes. They took my blood, and on those results they put up like a meal plan for me, and like I would have to measure every single ounce of the ingredient and not more, not less. Yeah, that was kind of screwing me up quite a bit, because if you kind of measure everything, I was feeling bad for adding 1 strawberry too much to my smoothie, and that's crazy, and that's so not healthy. Like strawberries, like what the fuck.
I ended up on the edge of anorexia by just not eating at all anymore because I wanted to be thinner.
I've done lots of diets, of course. The moment I realized that something is wrong with my body, at least I thought so, I started doing diets.
Low carb, paleo, juice fasts.
Oh my god, I did so much. Like at one point, I just stopped eating.
Intermittent fasting.
I remember like having phases where I just ate fruits and vegetables. I remember having phases where I just, like everything that I ate, I just ate really small portions of it. And it never worked. And it really made me unhappy.
But at a certain point, through therapy, through speaking to someone and talking about my issues, I have a much, much, much better relationship with food, and I do not do diets anymore, and I do not plan on ever doing a diet in my life ever again.
I never realized I was exercising, doing yoga, everything, not to make myself better, but mostly to lose weight. So I've screwed up a lot of my teenage.
When I was 17, I really stopped eating because it was a bad time and I felt really uncomfortable in my body. And when I stopped eating, I lost a lot of weight. And I remember feeling the worst ever. I've never felt more uncomfortable. Like the more weight I lost, I felt more uncomfortable in my body.
I'm not really sure if I've ever gone on a diet, but what I can remember with food is in the past and still now, sometimes to this day, I will have this really strong feeling of guilt if I eat something that's bad for me. Like if I have some cake or pizza or just other things, you know, I feel like it's not as much nowadays in the present, but I can remember times in the past where I would eat something so delicious and, you know, bad for me and then feel so guilty afterwards that it really wasn't even worth it to eat it, you know, because I just hated myself afterwards for having eaten it.
I have never been on a diet because I have the other problem that I get too slim in a very short time when I'm sick. I have problems gaining weight and I have never been on a diet.
I have done several diets, but I think mostly for health reasons. It's certainly also motivation to be more slim or to like be less overweight and look better, but it hasn't been the main motivation, because otherwise I think it would have been a very negative motivation, and this is not a good motivation to change anything in the first place. If you think you have to fit a certain ideal, it's something you can basically never reach, because it's like, you know, what is the perfect like weight, or what is the perfect look? There's no such thing. So it's kind of like tricky to chase this.
Why did you go on the diets? Like, was there a reason or a goal? What was going through your mind? Can you remember what you were thinking?
For sure, weight loss in any form. I wanted to feel comfortable in my body. I wanted to feel better, and I wanted to look better and more like the others, I guess.
I think it was to get rid of this general feeling of not being good enough, not feeling good enough in my body.
Control. I wanted to have control over something. It is so nice to have like a number. Like a number gives you control. It's something you can control. It's something you can set a goal with a number. So I set a goal. So when I was standing on the scale, I was always having this goal number that I wanted to achieve. It really satisfied me for a moment to have that number and also to keep that number. But there was only a very short moment of satisfaction. And afterwards I felt really bad because I knew that I was forcing something that is not natural at all.
I was just super unhappy with myself. I thought that I was too fat. I wanted to lose weight. But yeah, I was just very unhappy with everything about myself, and this gave me some control over something that I could change. So I guess it was not really a weight-related issue. It was more like I wanted to be in control of something that I could change about myself, and that's easier to do with weight rather than personality and self-confidence.
Do you feel pressured to live up to a particular beauty standard in our society?
Definitely. Yes.
Yes, I do feel pressured to do so, especially now. It's crazy. I'm 25 years old at the moment, and people start telling me, oh, you start getting wrinkles around your eyes, oh, you're in front of a camera. How long do you think that you can do that? Till you're 30, maybe? And after that, what will you do then? Yeah, that's really annoying.
Sometimes. Not always.
Yes and no. I think with growing older it gets better, and I realize that these beauty standards don't have anything to do with me. But I still have moments where I look in the mirror and be like, okay, I need to do something. I'm not thin enough.
I would be lying if I said I didn't feel pressured.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, there's still a pressure. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Now less than I used to.
You know, I wouldn't leave the house and go to work or go to the grocery store without makeup on, without even at least a little bit of mascara or some lipstick.
We've all grown up with this beauty standard, so what I see as beautiful is what I learned as beautiful when I was growing up, seeing that beauty standard. It is a very subconscious pressure, like something that I consider beautiful just because people said so, you know? So I'm trying to really move away from that, or at least be aware of that. And I don't know. Over the years, I've become a big fan of being more my natural self.
In the past, I've tried to change myself so many ways in order to fit in a certain way. But as I get older, I begin to realize what's really important, and it becomes less and less.
I stopped caring about this very early. As a kid, I'd like to be a boy in a way. I wanted to be like boys. I wanted to do what boys do and even look like a boy. My parents sometimes said I should more behave like a girl and dress like a girl, and I felt kind of offended and hurt by that, and I think that made me be even more rebellious about not caring.
I got more confident in my own skin, and I started liking myself the way I am.
I think pregnancy helped me to realize what my body is capable of.
I think I grew to like my body more because I'm getting older, and I realized that everyone has insecurities.
Yeah, it changed a lot, of course. I mean, I worked a lot on myself. All of these years, they paid off. I went from really hating being in my body to loving being in my body because it's my home, and I really feel that now.
I had a hard time being pregnant because I struggled with the way my body changed, and I knew it is good because my body is growing human, but it was hard for me to accept that I'm growing in every place.
It is getting better. It is more living with it, and I'm trying to train myself into making sure my body is healthy and not that I look a certain way, since being thin doesn't have to be healthy, but being a little bit more doesn't have to be healthy, or sick either. So there's no right or wrong. So for some people, this body type might work well for their well-being. For others, this type might. Also, I'm learning that lots and lots of the way you look has to do with your genes. And well, for some people, it just doesn't work to weigh or look a certain way, since that's not their natural way their body works.
The older I got, the more I accepted myself, and I realized that it's not important how the size of your nose is, or how big your boobs are, or how tall you are. That like the size of your nose doesn't define your value as a person.
I think I'm very self-confident when it comes to how I look. So that doesn't mean that I'm always satisfied with how I look. That's not the case. But I think I have accepted the way I look.
And I was able to give birth to another human, which is absolutely cool. And now it is hard to accept that my body changed again, and I have to kind of get used to it. But with all of that, there's always this thought of my body did such a cool thing, and I think it helped me to love my body more now.
I think they changed a lot thanks to social media, which sounds a little bit crazy because normally we're often talking about the problems of social media regarding body images, but on social media I saw for the first time also accounts who were doing the exact opposite, who were showing reality. For example, even though on Instagram you are not allowed to show female breasts or naked female breasts, there were lots of illustrations in my feed then when I started following people with content like that, who were showing, hey, look, those are all the varieties of forms and sizes and colors, and yeah, everything's fine and that's normal. There's not just that one thing that is considered beautiful. Also realizing that different people find different things attractive and beautiful.
What do you wish you could have told yourself as a young girl or teenager about your body or this topic in general?
Girls, if you want to get rid of your bra, you don't have to wear a bra. It's like very it frees a lot.
I wish I could tell myself that all those moments where you worry about your appearance and how others might think of you, no one actually cares except for you. And also, since you are worrying about it all so much, you make this whole situation worse. Like, you miss out on so much, so many opportunities. I still have to remind myself on that I should just care less.
I wish I realized that it's not about being thin, but about being healthy, and that I should have been more grateful that my body is healthy, because a lot of people aren't healthy. And that's kind of amazing that you have a body that works and that functions and that helps you live.
Also that phrase like, don't compare yourself with the girl in the magazine, because not even the girl in the magazine looks like the girl in the magazine.
The thing is, I know that if I would have told myself anything, my younger self wouldn't have believed me and wouldn't have listened. So there's that.
I think that we can't really tell young people anything. I heard the stuff I would tell myself before, but I think we have more of an obligation to change the circumstances so that they don't feel certain stuff.
I just think it is very important to always remember that it's not worth spending your time on comparing yourself with others, because you're never ever gonna be anyone else but yourself. You have to stick with this body, that's what you get, and you might as well just accept it and start loving yourself instead of wasting time trying to be someone else.
I've just accepted that this is what my curves are and I've got to embrace it, and I'll work hard to be fit, not to fit into the box of what society thinks is beauty.
Yeah, well, I'd say you are beautiful. Get to know yourself. Don't think so much about your appearances, because, I mean, that's not what life is about. Don't waste so much time. Don't waste so much time thinking about your appearances. Oh my God, really? Really. You know, that takes so much energy.
It's not important what other people think of you. The picture the media is drawing is not a law, and you don't have to fit in any pattern.
It really doesn't matter what other people think, and that you should be satisfied. And the people who love you and care about you, whether it's friends or family or a partner, they will, like you for who you are. And don't forget it.
Everything that you consider ugly right now is completely normal.
I wish I could have told myself that what you think and your hobbies and what you do, those things are the most important things, and that how you look is not the most important thing. Please don't believe that. Please don't believe that how you look is the most important thing. Please stop believing that. And I guess I would probably still tell myself that today. How you look, Donna, is not the most important thing about you.
I would tell her that she's more than just her body, and that she's more than just her face. Your interests, your thoughts, your friends, your family, your ideas, your dreams. That's what matters to you. That's what should matter to you.
I think it's same everywhere around the world. We've screwed up the meaning of beauty, color, size. Don't you feel we're changing? I love the fact that there are, every color women in the magazines now, and also the sizes in the shops. It's changing. It's truly changing.
Anything else you would like to share?
Nope. I think that's it.